The atmosphere and the excitement is already quite evident here. It's a beautiful day and it's an enormous crowd and the colour is fantastic.
Well, it certainly is, Don. I was here very early today and the crowd, when I got here, the crowd was starting to build up then, and it's going to be a beauty here today. And I believe, Don, that they're going to see a great game of football here today. No doubt everyone's saying at Port Melbourne are going to run away with this game. Well, don't you believe it, Don, because I've been speaking with Darryl McKenzie a little while ago and they're very keen. He said that same thing that happened against Port Melbourne a couple of weeks ago won't happen today, and they're very confident in that Sandringham camp. So it's going to be a great game of football here.
We're watching at the moment a wonderful aerial shot, of course, of the scene of today's great grand final, where the stage is set for this clash between traditional rivals Port Melbourne and Sandringham. And there's a wonderful shot of the Junction Oval, St Kilda, and you can see there part of the huge crowd starting to build up prior to the start of the big game today. I might mention here also that apart from the weather being fine and a little bit of wind blowing, as you can see from the flag, the ground itself is in excellent condition.
Yes, the curator Jack Young has done a marvellous job again, Don, and he certainly got this in tip-top grand final condition. Just like to mention that Port Melbourne side, which was not selected on Thursday night, there's the Channel O helicopter there, and that gave you that beautiful shot before.
Well, certainly adding another new dimension in the coverage of sport here, the Channel O chopper there, and of course another great innovation by the VFA. Right now, let's take you out to centre field and your compere, Philip Gibbs.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and football fans throughout Victoria, the VFA welcomes you to the Junction Oval for this, the centenary season of VFA and the 1977 Grand Final to be played today between old rivals Port Melbourne and Sandringham. And now, to begin our presentation, would you welcome the central band of the Royal Australian Air Force, the band under the musical direction of Warrant Officer James Striker and led by Drum Major Eric Haywood. The RAAF band, ladies and gentlemen. This is the third time this excellent band has appeared at a VFA final, and I'm sure that you will agree they are a colourful and very spectacular addition to our presentation here today.
Seen the Junction Oval, St Kilda, here in Melbourne, and the event, the 1977 First Division VFA Grand Final, and all the pre-match pageantry and ceremony now underway. Listening now to the magnificent band of the Royal Australian Air Force. And there's that great shot from the Channel O chopper up there in the sky, taking in the full vista of the wonderful scene here today. The VFA Grand Final 1977.
See there, the big crowd building up here. The expectancy, as always, of possibly not so much a sensational grand final as last year and in previous years.
Back to the girls of the Melbourne and Metropolitan Girls Marching Zone, whom you will remember last year gave us a wonderful and spectacular display down here. They're augmented today by country teams. The 1,000-strong contingent will march to the accompaniment, again, of the RAAF Central Band.
Watching a live coverage direct from the Junction Oval, St Kilda, of the pre-match ceremony before the start of the 1977 VFA Grand Final. The Royal Australian Air Force Band We're going back now to Philip Gibbs.
Association are moving into position. I have with me Mrs. Lorraine Wilson, who is the Public Relations Officer of the Marching Girls, and we're about to see a very spectacular display, Lorraine.
Good afternoon, Phil. It's a pleasure to be here again, and the girls have something really special planned this year.
I know, and I'm sure the public at home will enjoy it with the shots from the helicopter and also from the Clark crane up there. But apart from the VFA celebrating their centenary year, the Marching Girls are associating their Jubilee year, I understand.
That's correct, Phil. In 1952, the first teams were recognised by the Australian Girls Marching Association, and consequently the first teams were formed in Victoria from their authority. The instructor that first started marching in Victoria, Mr. Marsh Riley, has still got a team today.
All right. Well, thank you very much for supplying the girls to us today, Lorraine. And I think they're all ready now to get underway for this marching display. Thank you very much, Lorraine Wilson.
Thank you, Phil.
Right, let's now for a moment go back to our main commentary position and Don Hyde with Ted Hendricks.
Okay, back here at the main commentary position. The atmosphere really building up prior to the start of the 1977 VFA Grand Final. The crowd being entertained at the moment by the wonderful band of the Royal Australian Air Force, and very shortly the Marching Girls display will commence. Quite a big crowd building up here, Ted Henrys.
Yes, there certainly is, Don, and it's going to get bigger too, and they're going to see a great game of football here today between the two top sides in the Victorian Football Association for 1977, Port Melbourne and Sandringham.
Well, Ted, there's that wonderful aerial shot again from the Channel O chopper up there in the sky, and starting to make its approach in over the top of the Junction Oval.
Magnificent.
And certainly giving our viewers every opportunity at home to share in the great scene here today. And this crowd here at the Junction Oval certainly building up into quite big proportions. And now we see the Marching Girls making their entrance out onto the arena here at centre field. And in the background again, the band of the Royal Australian Air Force. There they are.
1,000 Marching Girls.
Junction Oval St Kilda scene of the 77 Grand Final between these two great sides, Port Melbourne and Sandringham. And at the moment, the pre-match ceremonies underway. The Royal Australian Air Force Band And a magnificent display commencing now from the girls of the Melbourne and Metropolitan Girls Marching Zone. I might mention here that as well as the Metropolitan girls, we have girls from country teams as well. And it's a 1,000-strong contingent today marching to the accompaniment of the Royal Australian Air Force Band. The girls are forming a set of goal posts out on the arena at the moment, and inside the goals the figures 100 to symbolise the VFA centenary.
A little information that the girls are forming a set of goal posts, and inside the goals the figures 100 to symbolise the VFA centenary. From just beside us here, you'll see formed in a moment a group of girls who will march through the goal posts, enacting the motion of kicking a goal and making the simple pattern on the arena more effective as a football theme. So let's get underway with the girls here to score a goal for the VFA and the centenary of football's first organised body.
The spectacular display you're watching at the Junction Oval with the marching girls to the accompaniment of the Royal Australian Air Force Band.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've scored a goal for the VFA in centenary year. We hope you've enjoyed the presentation so far. Also, for those of you on the western side of the ground, you'll notice along the boundary line the members of the VFA Thirds All-Stars. They're holding a shield with each with a VFA club name, nickname and year of entry into VFA. You'll see how over the years that the VFA has expanded with a look at these fine young fellows in front of us. Also, to form a special guard of honour for the list and trophy winners presentation, would you make very welcome the Parade of Champions, the 1977 Centenary Best and Fairest VFA winners in all grades. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners. Now, coming out onto the ground, we have the VFA Colts Fred Memorial Trophy, the Fred Hill Memorial Trophy, Peter Bardowell of Mordialloc. Welcome, Peter. Next, we have with us the VFA Thirds Gomez Medal, Bill Graham from Northcote. Welcome to you, Bill. VFA Thirds Gillen Medal, Chris Leonardus of Dandenong. VFA Seconds Disher Medal, John Dobson of Camberwell. VFA Seconds Todd Medal, Neville Stibbard, who will be on the ground later on representing Port Melbourne. And finally, the winner of the 1977 Field Medal Best and Fairest Player in Division 2 this year, from Oakley, and previously the winner of the 1975 Liston Medal, Derek King. Now, before the teams enter the arena, today's umpires will appear from the scoreboard end. Field umpire is Graham Marcy. He's with boundary umpires Rob Sevens and Rob Twining. Goal umpires are David Pearce and Graham Duggan. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to the arrival of the stars of today's big game and winners of the second semi-final, the famous Boroughs, welcome onto the ground, Port Melbourne. And now appearing in their 6th VFA Grand Final, Port's rivals, led by Terry Wilkins, the mighty Zebras. Let's hear it for Sandringham. Official presentation ceremony. And also at this stage, I ask you now to please welcome the President of the VFA, Councillor A.G. Gillen, OBE, JP, and ask Bill Thompson also to please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the VFA and the J.J. Liston Trophy winners. Well, at the moment, we're just waiting on the Sandringham side to come around and line up for the national anthem. And those of you who are not already, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand in a moment for the national anthem. Immediately, the Sandringham side arrives. Both looking very fit sides out here at the present time and keen to get underway. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you now please stand for the national anthem. While the teams are getting ready, we call on Councillor Gillen to make the presentation of the J.J. Liston Trophy. Councillor Gillen.
The Honourable Brian Dixon, Minister for Youth, Sport and Recreation, his fellow parliamentary colleagues, other distinguished guests, officials of the clubs and the Victorian Football Association, and ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure today to welcome you to our centenary grand final. And what better clubs would represent the VFA on our grand final today than Port Melbourne, one of our strongest and oldest clubs, and Sandringham, who last year just escaped relegation today to play off in our grand final. I feel that the large crowd here today will really appreciate the game displayed on behalf of the Victorian Football Association. I feel very proud indeed today to be the president of the Victorian Football Association on such a momentous occasion. In our 100 years of football, we've had many, many problems in the Victorian Football Association. The latest one is the intrusion into Sunday football. I can assure all that we will do all in our power strenuously to avoid that. But on a happier note, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the winner of our Best and Fairest Player Award for this season. The J.J. Liston Trophy was won by the player from the Dandenong Football Club, and ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Bill Thompson. He, this year, received a record number of votes, umpires' votes, won by a margin, and I quite concur with the decision of the umpires in this matter. I would too perhaps indicate to you, Bill, that one of the privileges of the J.J. Liston Trophy, that on presentation of this medal at any game under the auspices of the Victorian Football Association, you will be admitted for life. I do congratulate you personally and on behalf of the Victorian Football Association.
Councillor Gillam, ladies and gentlemen, we play football for a long time, and to receive something like this is a really terrific honour. You just don't know how to explain it, but it's just terrific. And I'd like to thank all the fellows from the Dandenong Football Club, President, committee, Travis Pays, and all the players for all the help they've given me during the year. Congratulate all the other medal winners, Best and Fairest, and the VFA Colts. And I'd like to wish both sides today all the very best. May the best side win. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And now we ask our 1977 VFA Best and Fairest players to join the two captains with Bill as he does a lap of honour. And while the players do their lap of honour, we ask all those on the arena to please leave their positions, and we'll play the 1977 Grand Final. And, of course, may the best team win.
Well, there go the balloons, and just part of the pageant here today, and a spectacular sight at the Junction Oval. A credit to the VFA. That's show business, and that's how to present sport. And full marks to the VFA. We've had many innovative things in recent years at presenting grand finals in this spectacular fashion. World-class fashion is one of them.
As the balloons rise high into the sky there, we find the Bill Thompson, the 1977 J.J. Liston Trophy winner, doing his lap of honour with all the other winners of the various divisions, and also the representatives of the teams playing in the big grand final today. Bill Thompson with Terry Wilkins, Brett Cook, and that's Neville Stibbard with him. Of course, Bill will be joining us this afternoon as one of our commentators.
We'll be back for all the action here at the Junction Oval in just a moment.
see him later on.
Well, there's the toss. And Fred Cook of Port Melbourne has won the toss, and they're kicking to the Fitzroy Street end. The end favoured by a breeze worth possibly something like 3 to 4 goals.
Well, the stage is set now for the 1977 Grand Final. All the wonderful colour of the pre-match ceremonies are finished, and now players lining up in their positions. Ted.
Yes, just mentioning once again the changes in the Port Melbourne side, that they did not select the team on Thursday night. Coming into the side will be Bob Prophet at fullback in place of Sid Anderson, and a late change, Tony Haynen, unable to take his place in the side due to injury. His place will be taken by Graham Clark. And
right now, here's Philip Gibbs.
Right, thank you very much, Don and Ted. It was a great sight from down on the arena there today. And I might mention, for your information, if you look at last night's Sporting Globe, you'll have the original lineups of the side. We'll be taking shots from our News at 6 Channel O helicopter throughout the afternoon. It will be coming in from the bay, and then of course we have the camera situated up there high with a Clark's crane that will be showing not only the football action here today. There we are, and it gives you some idea of the height we're up there. And also we will be showing the actual positions on the marks of the foot runners in the Channel O Centenary Gift 1000 to be run at half-time. Fastest time in one of the semis this morning was 12.4, which was great running indeed, which prompts us also to congratulate Jack Young, the curator down here, for the great way he's prepared the surface, not only the running track but also the surface of the ground here for football. Well, there's a beautiful shot of the ground here, and as you can see, a big crowd at the Junction Oval today for the centenary grand final of VFA football. All right, now we'll see the helicopter zoom in down here to give us a shot of umpire Graham Marcy as he prepares to come in and bounce the ball. Here we go, down onto the umpire, Graham Marcy in charge. And the emergency umpire today is umpire Bill Tawney. Big crowd here today for the grand final. Anderson moves in for the knockout from the ruck with McNicholas. Both players got it down to the ground. No one able to break away. Holding the man, says the umpire. And the free kick will be taken here by Kennedy. Now Kennedy from the centre plays it out towards the flank, and that's Hutchison taking it out there. Fair way out from goal and kicking into the wind at the lake end of the ground. Here he goes, a left footer. Hutchison could be a very dangerous player this afternoon. No one able to take a clean mark. But there's little Goss who's on the field. Paul Goss gets it out to Stibbard, but Stibbard was on his way up the ground. The umpire's blowing the whistle, and for some reason or other out there, Ted giving a free kick.
yes, after the play that was for, so it was played down the field to Neville Stibbard.
Right now, here we go. It comes across towards the centre half forward zone to Wilkins. Wilkins up further field, up towards the forward zone. No one able to pick it up as yet. And here's the opportunity for Port to get it away through Greening. Greening gets the kick in over the centre line, up towards the half forward line. Players moving in. No one able to take possession of it until Rasmussen gets the push. It appeared as though he tripped himself. The umpire's called play on. Oh, Coelho went bang at Fred Cook. Just got out of the road down there. And here it is, passed back to Kennedy again, into the centre from Kennedy. And racing away is McNicholas, if he can race. McNicholas up towards the half-forward line, and it's Sandringham into attack again. This is going to be a great game of pressure football here today. That was Beecroft kicking it away. Gets it up here in the direction of Critch. Critch then with a hand pass across to Stibbard. Stibbard into the centre of the ground. The opportunity to move across for Rasmussen, but he couldn't get there. Gould is in the van. Also there is Holt. Holt has the chance to grab the ball. He tucks it in there, but it's play on. Comes out in the direction of Peters. Peters of Sandringham up towards the half-forward line. Up they fly. Stibbard knocks it down to the ground. Oh, Critch around the neck, and he must get the free kick. So Critch will go back for this free, right near the centre of the ground.
I notice Sims of Sandringham, who was selected as an interchange player, Phil, is on the ground.
Righto, now Critch coming right up the ground, right over the centre line really, plays it up towards the half-forward line. Big players want it, and there's Holt comes in, snaps it right out of the air. Making the mistake there was Gould, too far under the ball. So Holt now from the true centre half-forward position, kicking towards the Fitzroy Street end of the ground before this big crowd, huge crowd at the VFA Grand Final. Holt lines them up. puts the ball well on its way. The umpire moves across, and it will be through, I'd say, for 1 point only. First score of the match, 2.5 minutes after the commencement of play. At this stage, let me take the opportunity of introducing Eddie Millay, who will be joined later on with the J.J. Liston Trophy winner, Bill Thompson. Good afternoon to you, Eddie.
Good start to this game. I think Port Melbourne have to do a lot of attacking this half, which at this stage they're doing.
Righto, Eddie. Now, here we go with it. Comes up around the wing position. McNicholas trying to kick it off the ground. A hand pass back here from Goss. He sends it up towards the half-forward line. Coming in defence is O'Brien. O'Brien up towards the half-forward line. Greening keeps it in play. Tried to break through players, but yes, he's been given a free, Greening. Got copped a bit too hard.
Your selection, Phil, today?
My selection definitely for Port Melbourne, Ted.
And I'm going for Port Melbourne. And Don?
Port Melbourne.
And Eddie?
I'm for Port Melbourne too, Ted.
Righto, now again play gets underway, and here's Clark getting it up towards the centre of the ground, round the neck to Paul Goss, and no, the umpire's called it holding the ball, and the free kick will be taken by Gould. 3.5 minutes of play has gone by. Gould gets a loose man out here on the wing position, and Franklin is the player who'll take it away. Franklin with the kick up towards the half-forward line for Sandringham. They're into attack again. Now unable to take the mark. Couldn't judge the flight of the ball. Hand pass out here to Bell. Bell races down towards goal. Was tagged. The umpire's called play on. Stibbard getting held then and holding the man, says the umpire. And the free kick will go to Neville Stibbard. This will be Stibbard's third kick for the game. And Stibbard now getting the kick in up towards the centre of the ground, wide of the centre really. Critch goes up, also Wilkinson, but Critch gets it wide of the centre. Clark moving down, dodges cleverly. Now Clark steadies, then puts the ball on its way up towards that half-forward line once again. Race for the ball, coming in there is Prophet and Giles. Down goes Giles. Will he get the free? Yes. He's got the free kick at the 4.5 minute mark into the first quarter. So Giles of Sandringham is well within scoring distance. Ted, I'd say only about 40 metres out.
That's all, Phil. This is the boy that came in for his second game for the year last week in their big match against Coburg. Giles it from full forward.
Tell you what, by the way it looks at the moment, it won't be all Port Melbourne's way as he puts it on its way, and it's a good shot. It's through, I think. Yes. First goal of the match, 5 minutes after commencement of play. Port Melbourne 1 point, Sandringham 1 goal.
Hello, this is Eddie here.
Now to take up the commentary, Don Hyde.
Right, Phil, Port Melbourne 1 point, Sandringham 1 goal. It's Port into attack. There's Fred Cook flying, but Buse is up in front of him. And Buse, the arch rival of Fred Cook, outmarks his opponent in their first real encounter of the game, and plays on and puts the ball onto the Sandringham half-forward line. They're deep into attack. An opportunity over here for Terry Wilkins. He loses the ball to Owen. Owen to Anderson. Anderson across here to Prophet. Prophet grabbed and will get the free kick. There must be some doubt over the complete fitness of Bob Prophet to come into the side, the grand final, after having missed the last game.
I was assured by Fred Cook, and I was talking with Fred actually the grand final breakfast yesterday morning, and he assured me that Bob Prophet was 100% fit, Don.
Yes, I was thinking more of match play, Ted, but he's a real competitor. And with the wind behind him, he's about, well, a fair way from goal, about 80 metres out. There's a beautiful kick in towards Cook. Cook seemed to push his opponent out there. A kick wide by Christo. And Christo has goal for Port Melbourne. In that scurry of players there in front of the goal. And Port Melbourne away with 1 goal, 1 on the board. Sandringham 1 goal. And in the first quarter, 6.5 minutes gone. Let's watch it on slow-mo. Number 2, Christo, getting possession. Quick kick onto his foot. And a goal to Port Melbourne.
And what a great opening to the game, Don.
Yes, tremendous, Ted. There's the knock away by the little fellow there, Kennedy. It's out towards Christo again. It doesn't bounce right for him on this occasion. Opportunity for Harland. Harland, number 9 in the picture now. Gets his left foot to the ball, plays it wide to the half-forward line. Evans is there. Number 27 in the picture. Can't quite get to it with Clark coming in as well. And out of bounds it goes on the Port Melbourne half-forward flank. Early in the game, and 1 point the difference, Port Melbourne in front. 25 McNicholas, 14 is Anderson. Knocked down by Anderson, who was a doubtful player before the start of the game. Picked up by Christo again to the half-forward line. The mark dropped down here by Clark. Now the ball is picked up here for Port Melbourne by Harland. He kicks it in towards goal, offline, and 1 point. Another point to Port Melbourne to take them on in the first quarter. The 1-goal-2, Sandringham 1 goal. We checked the time, 8 minutes gone in the first quarter, and there's the ball back in play again. Opportunity here for Franklin, left foot kick by him, down to the centre wing. Terry Wilkins is there. The ball is knocked away by Critch, but a free kick will go to Terry Wilkins. Wilkins right on the centre wing. Big crowd at the Junction Oval for the 1977 grand final between Sandringham and Port Melbourne. Port Melbourne favourites for the game, but gee, Sandringham are doing well in the first quarter. They come into attack again. Anderson there against McNicholas, and the big fellow Anderson wins out. Handballs it away quickly across to Ivanov. Ivanov gets it out towards Evans. Evans on the flank position. There's Rasmussen coming in to lend a hand. Rasmussen, number 26 in the picture, knocks the ball away, then he gets bumped pretty hard. He's still over the top of the ball, and the whistle goes. And the decision holding the ball against Ivan Rasmussen, and the free kick will go to Peters. Peters on the half-back line, swinging play in towards Big McNicholas on the centre wing. Anderson knocks the ball away. It's out towards Gould. Gould has the ball knocked away from him, and over the line goes the ball, knocked away by Paul Goss, and a throw-in coming up on the centre wing. McNicholas versus Anderson again. No one getting the knockdown. A push in the back, and the free kick will go to Kennedy. Kennedy now, Sandringham putting his side into attack. Port Melbourne lead by 2 points. The ball taken down here by Hutchison. Hutchison swings the ball around onto the half-forward line. Bell is there. The ball knocked away from him. It comes out here again to Ivanov. Ivanov at Port Melbourne into the centre. Carroll's there for Sandringham. Plays the ball in front of him. Holt comes in to contest with him. Clark is there also. And it's going to be a pull around the neck. And the free kick will go to Dennis Clark. Dennis Clark right in the centre of the ground, putting Sandringham into attack against the breeze. He's looking out there for Kennedy, but the wind takes the ball over the line and out of bounds right on the centre wing. 14 Anderson, 25 McNicholas, knocked down by Anderson. The ball taken there by Coeli. He gets it downfield. And it's Sandringham now into attack through O'Brien. A good shot in towards goal, not quite good enough. Over the face of goals it goes. And out of bounds in the Sandringham attacking zone in their forward pocket. And the score, Port Melbourne 1-2 and Sandringham 1 goal. In quarter number 1 of the grand final, 10 minutes gone in this term as the ball is back in play again. Knocked down by Sims. Opportunity for Sims. He picks it up. He kicks it hurriedly. It's right across goal. O'Brien in the picture there. Allows his teammate to pick it up. Lyons. Goal. Sandringham. 2 goals. Port Melbourne 1-2.
Right, that was a great football then, and you can see the play then by Sandringham on their forward line, going across centre. Marty Lyons coming in onto his left boot and putting it through for Sandringham's second goal.
OK, let's take you over now to Philip Gibbs.
Don, we're just waiting on umpire Graham Marcy to come in for the ball up or bounce down, whichever way you want to call it. And here we go once again. And it was McNicholas getting the knockout from the ruck. He gets it wide. Long hand pass from Lyons up towards that half-forward line. O'Brien racing down the field. He sends it in towards the left-forward pocket. But coming around here in defence is Prophet. Prophet pays it onto the wing. Up they go for it. Pushed away by Clark. It'll go close to the boundary line, and Clark will eventually put it over. Player with him, well, that was Clark of Port Melbourne. He took the place of Hainan. Hainan, who came out of the side at the last moment. Right on the true centre wing position, players set themselves. No one from the ruck gets the opportunity to knock it down. Critch was held, but McNicholas gets it out. It comes out in the direction of Harland. Harland couldn't, yes, he gets the hand pass in, back here to Clark. And Clark grabs his opponent as he came through. That was O'Brien, but players allowed to continue. Critch dribbles it along the ground in the direction of Rasmussen. Now there's a pull around the neck. Look at them go in here. The umpire says around the neck, and it will go Port Melbourne's way. It'll be taken by Rasmussen. Well, Sandringham, we're just commenting in the background here how well they're playing today. And they've got the pressure right on the Port Melbourne. Out of bounds on the full, that one. And now Buse moving across there, and I reckon he'll take the free. We're at the 12-minute mark. Into the quarter, the first quarter, down here at the Junction Oval. No, it'll be Peters. Buse wanted the ball, but it's been handed across there, as you see, to Peters. He plays it around the flank position with the wind blowing straight down towards the lake end of the ground, the end which Sandringham is kicking to, and eventually out again. Port Melbourne 1-2, 8 points, trailing Sandringham at this stage. 2 goals straight, a total of 12 points. There comes once again, McNicholas sets himself, and McNicholas gets the knockout. He gets it down to O'Brien. O'Brien gets it away, up towards the centre of the ground. Wilkins goes up in the air and lines, but it's taken this time by Ivanov. Ivanov down towards the centre forward zone, and the umpire could see a push then, and the free kick will be taken by Buse. Well, they're both walking back. I reckon it'll be Alf Buse. Peters is down there, 21 and 31. I reckon he'll put the ball back to Alf Buse. Yes, there it goes. Now Buse looking for the lead around this flank on the stand side of the ground. And there it goes on its way towards the centre half-back position. Up went Rasmussen, but it's taken away from him by Franklin. Franklin back in towards the centre of the ground. Down comes Owen. Owen meets the ball well. Cutting across is Clark in front of them. They're starting to throw themselves in. There'll be a blue here in a minute. But umpire Marcy keeping control of the game as we see Stibbard get the free. He bangs it up towards Fred Cook. Again a push, a blatant push. And the umpire's allowed it. Oh, Freddie. Look at Buse saying his word.
And he's entitled to, Phil. That was quite obvious, that free kick.
Well, you can hear the result of that from the Sandringham supporters. Fearless Freddie's gone back. Buse still performing out there. And I'd say entitled to. On its way, umpire moves right across. You listen to the Sandringham supporters if it's a point. Look at that. And that takes Port Melbourne on to 1 goal 3, a total of 9 points, and Sandringham 2 goals straight, 12 points. Well, there's Norm Brown. he looks like the cat that's just swallowed the chicken. Anyway, it's Alf Buse taking the kick off the half-back line on the outer side of the ground, punched down to the ground here by Holt. He gets it up towards Fred Cook on the forward line, who in turn is being tackled by Peters. Neither player getting the advantage. The boundary umpire saying it's out. The field umpire saying throw it in. Right near the Port Melbourne goal. Annenson gets the big knockout, but puts it straight in the hands of Peters. Peters of Sandringham to centre half-back. Up they go, and Franklin takes the mark as we bring in Don Hyde.
Thank you, Phil. There's the ball played wide out towards the centre wing, and there's Ivanov getting a pull around the neck. And things hotting up a bit in the grand final, and we, of course, expected that between these two fiery sides. And there's a kick in towards Fred Cook. 2 players against Cook. Buse knocks the ball away. Kicked away by Holt over his head. Great shot. 1 point. I think we're going to be treated to a great duel as it's already started between Fred Cook, the century goal kicker this year, and Alf Buse in the picture now, the very vigorous fullback for the Sandringham side.
I'm just wondering if these two teams can keep up this pressure all day, Don.
Well, the pressure's tremendous, and I think you'd agree, Ted, Sandringham putting a lot of pressure on Port Melbourne at the moment.
Without doubt, right across that back line.
Here's Terry Wilkins now in play. Knocks the ball in front of him. It's knocked away by Critch to Franklin. Franklin, the opposition player. He gets it across to Kennedy. Kennedy onto the Sandringham half-forward line. Beacott caught with the ball. Play on. Picked up by O'Brien. O'Brien loses the ball. Around the neck, says the umpire. I think he put his head into it. 16 minutes gone in the grand final in quarter number 1, and Port Melbourne 10 points, Sandringham 12 points. O'Brien, there's his kick, high into the air, the wind taking it away, dropping short near the Sandringham goal, taken by Goss. His kick is smothered, more pressure by Sandringham. Right in front of the Sandringham goal, kicked away by Stibbard. A desperate kick for Port Melbourne to the half-back line. Giles pushed in the back, and a free kick. Wow, what a final. The margin, 2 points. And the underdog, Sandringham, leading at the moment as they have 2 goals on the board, and Port Melbourne 1-4. Giles, who kicked a great goal earlier in the game, kicks it in, off the side of his boot, in front of the Sandringham goal, right across. Taken here by Bell. Bell onto his right foot, shoots it in towards goal. Good shot, not quite good enough. 1 point. their first point, the Zebras. They're 2-1-13, and Port Melbourne 1-4-10.
Well, Sandringham is matching Port Melbourne all over the ground for pace, Don. I'm just wondering whether they can keep this up all day. And if they can, well, I'd say the result of this game will be in doubt right until the final siren.
Well, there's the fullback for Port Melbourne, Bob Prophet. A low trajectory drop kick to the half-back line. Taken by Adamson. A hand pass to Evans. Evans knocking it in front of him. Harlan, Shepherd's well to allow him to come through. Clark is after him. Evans gets his kick to Holt. And the picture tells the story. An opportunity missed, and the ball out of bounds between half-forward flank and the forward pocket for the Port Melbourne team. For 1-4, and Sandringham 2-1, and Sandy lead by 3 points. One straight kick for the Port Melbourne goal. 18 minutes gone in the first quarter. Up goes Clark of Port Melbourne. Opportunity for Peters. A hand pass, not well directed. Rasmussen offline and out of bounds on the full.
Nice getting.
Eddie Malay, your comments on the game so far?
Sandringham are applying tremendous pressure to Port Melbourne. The player that I thought would win the game for Port Melbourne was Vic Anderson, but at the moment I think he's being shaded by John McNicholas.
Well, it's the free kick going to Ivan Rasmussen. He's short pass and he finds Holt. Must have been an infringement before he kicked it over the line, Ted.
I think he was hit after he kicked the ball, Don, and that's the reason went out of bounds on the full, so the kick was brought back to him.
Well, there's Holt within kicking distance. Touched, or was it touched behind the line? A goal! And Alf Buse not happy about that. Said he touched the ball. Port Melbourne 3-4. There's the controversial moment there, and certainly the ball was touched, but the question is, was it touched behind the line or in front? The goal umpire said behind the line. So Port Melbourne 2-4, Sandringham 2-1, and here's Philip Gibbs.
Right, Don Hyde. And Kennedy's just got it down towards the forward line. O'Brien of Sandringham trying to get it, gets pushed in the back, and the umpire will give him a free kick. And they're not going out tonight either. Have a look at that. McNicholas going down and telling his boys to cut it out. It comes up towards Stibbard. Stibbard now takes it away, and he gets it around the half-back line to Evans. Evans now with his hand pass to Prophet. Prophet is grabbed, but he gets it back to Evans. He'll get tumbled here. And coming in is Hutchison. Hutchison with his kick for Sandringham up towards the forward zone, but again Owen comes into it. Owen of Port Melbourne to the wing on the outer side of the ground, and that's Terry Wilkins coming in to take the mark. Clever player, Wilkins, as he sends it in turn towards that centre forward zone. Look at them all set in there. Goes right through the middle of the pack. It was Breecroft getting it down to the ground. O'Brien is the player to move in. He's the one on the ground at the moment. Hutchison tries to get away. The umpire calls play on. There's Hutchison getting a shove, but he says holding the ball. Well, he held the ball before he eventually got the shove. And this is Christo taking it away. Plays it towards the centre half-back zone, where Critch comes in to take the mark. Critch now towards Harlan. Harlan went up, being tackled rather solidly by Gould. Comes out now with Harlan getting in front. Passes to Paul Goss. Goss streaks down the field. He gets it to Holt. It was unattended. He hand passes to Rasmussen. Rasmussen gets it up towards Fred Cook. This is dangerous. And Cook just gets it through. Whoa! Right back here at the Junction Oval, just waiting for the bounce of the ball again by umpire Graham Marcy. Port Melbourne at 3-4, 22, leading Sandringham 2-1, a total of 13. A huge crowd, as you can see in the background, right around the arena here. As we go for the bounce, and Anderson gets the knockout from the ruck. It goes wide, comes through towards Ivanov. And Ivanov getting in front of Franklin, goes down to the ground, but punches it away, picked up by Wilkins. And Wilkins of Sandringham up towards that right half-forward flank. Up they fly, and it was Stibbard moving into the back of his opponent. No one able to break away with it as yet, but eventually the umpire will give the free kick to Terry Wilkins. Now Wilkins moves in from the half-forward line, gets it up with his fifth kick up towards that right-forward pocket position. No one able to take the mark, but in the meantime, the umpire's blowing the whistle and has elected to give the free kick to Christo, I think it is, or Greening, who's gone right down there in the back pocket. Comes through to be taken now by Critch. Critch in turn up towards the half-forward line of Port Melbourne. Holt comes in from behind, just pushes away from his opponent. Dribbled out by Clark towards the boundary line, over and out. There's a lot of niggling going on, a lot of elbowing and a little bit of smacking around the beard part of the chin. Anyway, McNicholas and also Clark missed the run of the ball as it comes in. Christo went down to the ground, trying to kick it off the ground was Franklin. Did just that to Wilkins. Wilkins with a nice dodge, plays it back to Franklin. Franklin up towards that centre half-forward position. Giles went up, down to the ground, and the umpire says in the back. And that was against Profit. So Giles will get the kick from a fair way out, kicking towards the lake end, but certainly has the wind behind him. He's kicked one so far, Giles. Port Melbourne 3-4-22, leading Sandringham 2-1, a total of 13. He has a very strong wind against him. Look at, drags it away. You can see the pack moving across there. And it's Anderson to take the mark. Vic Anderson, a timely mark. As he went to hand pass, decided to take the kick, plays it in towards the centre. Peters goes after it, and it comes through towards Peters. He goes between Port Melbourne players, but it was Harland who brought him down to the ground. The umpire said, play on. Critch now plays it towards the half-forward line. Gould comes in to take the mark in defence. This is in defence for the Sandy side. And there it goes on its way, wide of the centre of the ground. Up they fly for it, and coming through to take the mark out here was Lyons. Lyons of Sandringham towards the half-forward line once again. Grading is playing a good game across the half-back line. Gets his kick into Christo near the centre of the ground. Christo looks for the hand pass, and turn it comes across towards Rasmussen. Rasmussen with a beautiful long kick, and he's put it through for another one. Port Melbourne to 4-4, Sandringham to 2-1. And again, as the bounce of the ball takes place, here's Don High.
Well, there's the ball being put forward there by Buster Harland onto the Port Melbourne half-forward line. Rasmussen comes in, goes to change his mind, and then he hesitates too long, and his kick is smothered by Coelho, and the ball is over the line on the half-forward flank for the Port Melbourne team. They're 4 goals for, Sandringham 2-1. Port haven't done enough with the wind in this quarter. Harland behind the pack, has to get rid of it quickly, then he gets pushed. Critch rather, not Harland. And he'll get the free kick. Critch on the half-forward flank. Left foot kick now, his 5th kick to the half-forward line. Rasmussen allows the ball to go over his head. Taken by Gould. Gould, a hand pass to Carroll. Carroll to Coelho. Coelho on the half-back line, putting Sandringham into an attacking position with the ball on the half-forward line. The player pushed out was Stibbard. Taken by the Sandringham player Hutchison. A left foot kick in towards goal. Offline. And the ball out of bounds in the full, and the free kick will go to Beecroft. Hutchison, a damaging player across the half-forward line, a player who will need to be watched closely. And we're watching Rasmussen there in the hands of the Port Melbourne runner as the ball is back in play again. It's on Sandringham's half-forward line, taken over here and kicked away by Gould towards the flank position. Play on, taken by Owen of Port Melbourne, down towards Critch. Can't pull the mark in. Taken by Harland. Back to Critch. Critch putting Port into attack. Christo's there. Pushes his opponent in the back. And the free kick will go to Peters. Peters on the Sandringham half-back flank position. And the Sandringham 2-1-13. Port Melbourne 4-4-28 in the first quarter of the grand final. A ball onto the Sandringham half-forward line. Anderson up, not able to get it. Knocked away by McNicholas to the flank position. Picked up by Carroll. Carroll of Sandringham into the full forward zone. Giles is there, flies in from behind, knocked away from him. In defence, it's Stibbard. Stibbard, a very steady defender for Port Melbourne. Plays it out towards the centre wing, looking for Bernie Evans. The look of the pace of Clark as he takes the ball away, knocks it in front of him. Evans comes at him again. Clark still plays it in front of him. Left foot kick, downfield, good pass, and the mark is taken by Bell. Peter Bell on the Sandringham half-forward line. A wobbly sort of a punt kick in towards Giles in the full forward zone. Up went Sims from behind. Hutchison, a snapshot, a good shot. 1 point, deserved better. And he shakes his head as if to agree. 28-14, and the Port Melbourne team in front. Time on being played in quarter number 1, and not enough having been done, I don't believe, with the win by Port Melbourne. It's a pretty strong breeze blowing straight down the Junction Oval, and Sandringham have done well, I believe, to have contained Port Melbourne so well in this first term. Bob Prophet, the vigorous defender in the full-back position for Port Melbourne, putting the ball back into centre field again. Big Anderson's there. McNicholas tries to knock it away from him. 2 Sandringham players here. One of them, Hutchison, has to kick with his right foot. Swings play to the half-forward line and towards Sims. Sims has to try and knock it away on his own half-forward line. Over the top of the ball is Goss. He gets pushed in the back. And the little rover for the Port Melbourne team, and carrying a famous Port Melbourne name, takes the free kick. Plays the ball wide to the half-forward line. It's all Sandringham, and Rod Coelho is there to take a strong mark. Coelho has proved himself to be one of the best halfbacks in VFA this year, with many fine performances, and now he plays it out to Hutchison, who already is becoming a star in this game with his heady play on the half-forward line. He kicks it down towards the forward pocket with his 7th kick, and there's a mark being appealed for by the Port Melbourne player Greening, and he's going to get it. John Greening. A high kick, a wobbly kick, not a good one. McNicholas is there, can't to pull an easy mark in. O'Brien knocks the ball forward to McNicholas, doing a lot of heavy work for Sandringham. In towards the full forward zone. Giles is there. A Port Melbourne mark, I think, the man in front. Giles almost hooked it back. Norm Brown is so excited, the coach of the side, that he's calling the shots from the boundary at the moment and not up in the coach's box, as is traditional. Taken by Evans. Evans to the half-forward line for Port Melbourne. They're into attack now, and Sammy Holt has the ball. Downfield, a player on his own. Bad play by Sandringham, and it was Clark unattended in the forward pocket. And a big opportunity here, right near the first quarter siren, for Port Melbourne to score. They lead by 14 points at the moment. Good kick, swings away, and through for 4 points. Port Melbourne 5-4, 34. Sandringham 2-2, 14. Minutes gone in the first quarter, and we're watching Stibbard now clearing the ball away for Port Melbourne, getting it down towards Christo, appealing for the mark. Play on, but he's clear. Couple of bounces. He's on Port's half-forward line, in towards Fred Cook. Good mark to Cook. Put down hard by Buse, and now it's on. That's all it needed.
I'll tell you what, Don, they're coming from all over the ground, even from the half-back line at the moment, to get into this one. Who's in the middle of it? Trying to pick him out. There's Buse, Cook.
Clark, Coelho, you name it, they're all there.
Oh, there goes Bobby Atkinson.
Or maybe he shouldn't be there, you know. I never believe in trainers getting into these things. It's up to the umpires to sort them out.
Well, it looks as though it's all over there.
Fred Cook, goal kicker supreme, century goal kicker this year, kicks it right across goal, and through for 4 points. His second goal. Port Melbourne 6-4, Sandringham 2-2. It's quarter time in the grand final.
Here we are. Second quarter of the 1977 VFA Centenary Grand Final. And it was McNicholas getting the knockout wide. It came down towards Paul Goss. Goss spears it straight out towards the half-forward line. Looked beautifully. Then with the further Rasmussen. He's got trouble in getting rid of the ball, but gets it out to Christo again. Christo with a short pass, and a good mark taken down here by Sammy Holt. Holt deep in the left forward pocket at the present time, kicking towards the lake end of the ground. He's kicked one. Umpire bring him right around. Phil Mate. There it goes, on its way. The wind will drag it right across the face of the big sticks and push through for 1 point only to take Port Melbourne onto 6 goals, 5-41, with Sandringham 2-2, a total of 14. We remind you that at half-time we have the Channel O centenary gift, a dash over 120 metres. Australia's top caller, John Russell, will be here to take you right into detail on it later on. Kick-off goes towards the half-back line. Nice hand pass comes out of there from Lee Evans, gets it up towards the forward line. Rasmussen couldn't get it. Taken away by Franklin. Franklin tackled very high, but the umpire will say it's holding the ball, and the free kick will be taken by Christo. There's a fellow beside us with a big mouth, but enjoying the match. He's kicked one. So Christo lines them up pretty deliberately. Got to be a big allowance down that end for the wind. It cuts right across the flight of the ball. He gets it up too high. And there it is. It'll swing wide, far too high. And Kennedy takes it in defence for Sandringham. He takes it around the boundary line to the half-back line on the outer side. Clark comes into it, tries to trap the ball. It beats him over the line now. Well, there we have some of the spectators, a little bit quiet, a little bit anxious at the present time of game today. Caulfield 4-7 defeated Dandenong 4-3 in the grand final. There comes again. Players move into it. No one successful in breaking away with it. There's Buster Harlan coming out of the pack now, and Harlan high in the air again. They need to keep that ball lower. Glenn kicking towards that end with a strong wind blowing down. The umpire's call play on as Sam Holt was held. Coming out of it is Cook. He slips it over the shoulder. That was Cook's third goal. Port Melbourne now moving away. They move on to Sandringham 2-2. There's the replay, and you'll see Freddie Cook. Have a look at him. Get it? There it goes over the shoulder. On its way. Good goal there, Eddie Malay.
Great goal by Cook. He's going to be hard man to stop today. It's his third goal, and I think he'll probably kick 6 or 7 today.
Right, thank you, Eddie. And here we go with the bounce again. It comes out to Critch to Goss. Goss of Port Melbourne straight down towards the forward zone. Cook went up at goal. The boy Ham should have been paid it, and I think he will, to Franklin. Sure, it was punched away from him as it was coming back into his hands for the second time. But there, full mark. There it goes on its way out towards Carroll on the half-back line. Carroll came in, failed to take the mark, and Nevins has the chance now for Port Melbourne to race into it. Low, touched, and then hit the post anyway. So Port Melbourne move on to 7-6, as against Sandringham's 2-2. They're on top by 5 goals for at this stage. Still a lot of them 3.5 minutes into the second quarter. Comes out into open territory. You'll see Gould race in for it, McNicholas as well, and he's having a big battle with Anderson, and a throw-in will take place. Right in front of the cricket stand here. Yes, Ted?
Unfortunately, Ray Gould of Sandringham is kick-chasing. Phil, he's leaving Holt alone too often.
And Holt's doing the damage too, Ted. Pulled out to McNicholas of Sandringham, and he'll now put it away from the right half-back flank. McNicholas looking around the field. Up towards the half-forward line. Hutchison goes up. It went up before it settles. Is tapped back into his hands by Owen, his opposition player, on its way. And the goal umpire says 1 point. So Sandringham move to 2-3, 15. Here's an interchange going on. And it's Lorb coming on the ground for the Sandringham side. And it's Big McNicholas coming off. Injury either showing or he's coming off for a rest. There's the kick-off by Bobby Crawford onto the half-back line. Oh, rising high was Lorb. Couldn't quite hold the ball long enough. Terry Wilkins was tripped, and he'll get the free kick. He was off like Burnborough then. This is the 6th kick. Don High.
There's Terry Wilkins now, an opportunity to score from the half-forward flank. His kick swings play right to the full forward zone. Giles in from behind, but the other player in front is Sims, and Sims pulls it in. We saw Giles, you'll see this on the CB slow-mo, flying in from behind, but Sims had the front position there, and his big hands pulling the ball down. An opportunity now from right in front, and Sandringham lead this goal. Yes, their third goal, they're 3-3, 21. Port Melbourne 7-6, 48. Down, Ted, I'm sure you'd agree, in attack.
They are falling down the attack by playing the long, kicking, high marking game. They're not up to it against this strong defence of Port Melbourne. They'll have to use a lot of handball from the centre down.
Port Melbourne, 50-22. Prophet kicks the ball back to the half-back line. Waiting for it is Critch. Handball out of the pack. Law picks it up. Handball by him, knocked away by Owen towards Anderson. Anderson, a long, raking hand pass to Stibbard. Stibbard now, dummy the hand pass, and gets his kick for the centre wing. Rasmussen in the back there of Gould.
Well, he must have been pushed according to umpire Marcy.
there behind the play. Wilkins having a bit of a word to Rasmussen. Downfield, Port into attack again. Their players going in hard. And it's on again. This is down behind the play. Corelli is there. Holt in the middle of it. And it's on again downfield as Holt can't quite contain himself and has to be restrained by his colleagues.
Right, let's have a look at a replay, Don, on the CUB slow-mo of that incident.
Running through across the front of the pack, colliding with Evans, who now is about to take his free kick. Now, there's the umpire talking to the Port Melbourne trainer, and I think we mentioned before, trainers should keep out of these incidents, causes further trouble. I'm sure they mean well. They don't always have the desired result. Now behind the play. Well, I missed that. Fred Cook's getting the free kick. To Fred Cook.
Back here at the ground for the bounce once again, and in they go. Tapping it out was Lorb, getting it wide of the pack. A lot of shoving and elbowing going on in there, and umpire Marcy allows it to continue. Evans passes it back here to Ivanov. Ivanov up towards the half-forward line would pay that one a good mark to Clark of Sandringham. So Clark from the half-back line will trot to the half-forward line. Let's see if the forwards can do any good, but the back men are better off to pull in the mark for the Burrows. Reading out towards the wing on the outer side of the ground. Evans with the hand pass across the full Goss. Goss moving downfield with a little short pass to Ivanov. Ivanov with the hand pass to the forward line to Evans. And they've got Sandringham bamboozled at the present. Shot straight into the hands of Christo. Port Melbourne, since a bit, or rather Sandringham, there's Rasmussen, but Sandringham, since a little bit of the rough stuff has come in, Sandringham seemed to be a little bit bamboozled. Rasmussen shooting for his second goal and the 10th for Port Melbourne. A 9-9-63 at the moment, Port Melbourne. Sandringham 22, and there it is on its way from Rasmussen. His second and the 10th for Ports. They're now 10 goals, 9-69 to Bill Thompson. Bill, what do you think about it now? Do you think a bit of the rough stuff has stirred Sandringham up a bit?
I think Sandringham are getting a bit frustrated, starting to hit after the fellows got rid of the ball. They know they can't get back into it, and they think that a bit of rough stuff might get them back, but that's their only chance, I think. But, you know, Port are just too good. They're running.
Anything like last year, Bill?
No, I think we had more chance than Sandringham had last.
Righto. Here we go. It is pushed wide of the players overrunning the ball. Allows Christo to come in, push it back. Hutchison moves in. Didn't quite know which way to go. In a bit of trouble. Gets his kick in up towards centre half forward. Ivanov was set then, but coming over the top of him was O'Brien of Sandringham. Down he goes. And look at all the Port players around as Critch gets possession. Sends it up towards Buster Harlan. It's pushed through here by Franklin of Sandringham. Players going in very hard out there at the moment. But Sandringham are doing it without any system. There's holding the man in my book, but Harland is the player, right under the News at 6 sign. And eventually the ball will end up with Clark. He sends it towards the centre forward zone, and there was a mistake on the part of Hughes, allowed Rasmussen to come in, and Rasmussen's put it through for his third, Port Melbourne's 11th.
That's right, Phil.
All right, Graham Marcy, just waiting. Those players creeping over the line. This is the half forwards. And Anderson's grabbed the ball anyway from the umpire because they did come over the line. Down towards Christo. Hook moving over. Just couldn't quite stretch far enough. And again, it's over the line and out of bounds. Port Melbourne 11-9. 75 to Sandringham's 3-4, 22. There's an interchange player coming on. It'll be Roberts Thompson. He's not a bad player either, this fellow. Can take a good mark, and they need them at the moment. There's Clark taking it away in defence for Sandringham. Out towards the half-back line on the outer side of the ground. Racing for the ball is Lyons of Sandringham. Should get there first. Does. I don't often see kicking off the ground these days. He had the chance, but Evans came into it, grabs the ball, plays it towards the half-forward line. Gould pushes it out wide. Gould then going up, tackling Evans again, but Evans gets the short hand pass in, and away we go again. Down towards the forward line by Christo, and the umpire stands there, says it's another one. And Port Melbourne move on to 12-9. That was his second, with Sandringham 3-4. Here it comes down into the hands of Kennedy of Sandringham, high in the air towards that half-forward line. They're shot to bits across the half-forward line, Sandringham. They just can't get a pass there. And when they get it up forward, they can't score either. Carroll takes the mark. Wide of the centre. Wilkins calling for the ball. Hutchison from the centre of the ground with his 14th kick up towards centre forward. And there goes the siren for half-time. And the half-time scores. Port Melbourne 13-9, 87, leading Sandringham 3-4, a total of 22.
We're not fully extended out today, but we could go about another 50 or 60 feet.
Righto, Alan, thanks very much for the talk there with Park's mobile cranes. Thanks for the courtesy. Right, the match is underway. Here's Don Hyde.
Right, third quarter underway, and Sandringham in a lot of trouble. They trail 22-87. Let's see if they can get back into a pick-up by Hutchison to Lyons. Lyons into the forward pocket. Sandringham into attack quickly. A player fumbling for the ball is Bell, and out of bounds it goes. A very quick forward thrust by the Sandringham team early in the third quarter. Harland down to Goss, and Goss down to Holt on his own. Holt will kick a goal here. 14, Sandringham 3-6. And an easy victory apparently coming up in the early as it is. Now we'll see Prophet bring the ball around the flank position on the outer side. There it is. Port Melbourne's goal. In the third quarter, 24 minutes gone. McNicholas knocks the ball out of the pack, looking for Hutchison. Hutchison gets possession. He's on the centre wing. Gets onto his left foot, his natural kicking foot, kicks it to the half-forward line. Where are the forwards? They're not there again. Greening takes the mark. Out towards the centre wing, Critchley were at the moment, and having little pressure applied to them. Critch kicks it to the half, and Clark is there for the Sandringham to will take his kick in the centre. Port Melbourne 17-4. Ivanov taking it for Port Melbourne quite easily, kicking it down into attack. Up is Roberts, but he taps the ball clear to Coeli, and now Coeli kicks the ball away onto the forward line. Hutchison loping in for it. A left foot kick by him, a shocking kick. In towards the forward pocket. Beecroft knocks the ball away from Bell, and it's out of bounds right on the half-forward flank. Port Melbourne 17-14. Almost certain win coming up for Port Melbourne. No one is there, but Kennedy knocks the ball out of the pack. A shot in towards goal. Offline. McNicholas couldn't quite find the big sticks. A goal there would have given Sandringham added heart, and they certainly need that at the moment.
Yes, Don, the last goal that was kicked by Sandra Carroll early in the second quarter. So goal far between with the Sandringham team. Here's the ball now coming wide of the centre. O'Brien had the opportunity to come in, but a pick up by Greening. Gets it down towards Christo, but there's O'Brien battling away, and he's battled away all day. Gets a long hand pass out of the pack. He gets it through here to Franklin. Franklin on its way. It won't quite get the distance. Comes down towards Stibbard. Stibbard with a hand pass to Prophet. And there they are, getting it away effortlessly. You'll see the difference as it goes up towards the forward zone. Take them out. Now there's the difference between the two. Sandringham, it comes up on Ports, and they have the players there to handle it. He's kicked 6, Fred Cook. And he will be going for Port Melbourne's 18th. They're 17-14 now. Sandringham 3-7. And it's right through the middle. That's his 7th. Port Melbourne 18-14. 100. 8.5 minutes into the third quarter. It comes out. He turns back into the play and is caught by Vic Anderson. The umpire, though, says around the neck. And the 18 metres, it was right in front of him, too. There goes the kick, and he'll get it out here to Clark. Sandringham's side, moves downfield. He's going for the long run, then gets the kick in up towards the zone. And about time, a good mark to be taken by Bell. Bell's not taken. He's to the forward zone, and they're picked up by Bob Prophet, or marked by Bob Prophet. Now, did the umpire... So, Bob Prophet. I think to you, Bill Thompson, Eddie, that's the pattern of the play. They haven't got anyone up forward. Just let's take this for a moment. Haven't got anyone up forward, Bill. Sandringham?
Hutchison seemed to be the only one that kept him in it in that first quarter, the same as the last time they played. And other than that, they've just got no one. Every goal is a battled goal, and at the moment, there's just nothing there.
No, the full-back...
Here we go again. Giles comes into play, and Giles gets bowled or rolled, whichever way you like to put it. Anderson to take the kick. They kick straight into the hands out here of Dennis Clark. Clark gets it down towards the centre forward, and it comes in towards Bell now, and he takes the snapshot towards, and he's done with it. So there we are. It's not so much that Sandringham are playing poorly, I don't think. It's that Port Melbourne are right on top of them, playing good football. Concentration still there. Intention of losing concentration. 80-minute mark with the ball out of bin. 122. Sandringham total of 25. Umpire Marcy blows the whistle. I think he may have decided to come in and give a Sandringham free kick too big. He has too. A point. And I'll tell you what, the Sandringham players are walking around as though it's only 5 minutes to go in the last quarter. There's still a long time to go. There it is, out on the full. Neville Stibbard will go back to I don't want to sound as though we're criticising Sandringham. It's very difficult to do otherwise. And there's Sandringham. Shot for goal, and it's offline and through for another point again. So Sandringham moves to 3-8, 122.
8 behind is the lowest score ever recorded in the grand final. I'm just wondering if Sandringham can get at least another point.
Check up to see what his siren goes to end the third quarter for the bounce, and away we go for the final quarter. Don High.
Okay, can at least make their score a little bit more respectable from the 3-8 to O'Brien wanted to play on, but he's going to take his kick, and we'll come back to that in a moment. There's a kicking towards goal by O'Brien. 1 point only to Sandringham. They badly needed a goal. They're 3-9. Port Melbourne 18-14. Near the centre wing, you know, and runs in number 6, trying to get it. 27 is Sims. He knocked 27 to 122. The score. Port Melbourne in a winning position in the grand final, and that's putting it mildly. Goss across to Critch. Critch on the half forward line is there. Up he goes, knocked away from him. Buse, his opponent, kicks it away and then comes over the top of the ball. There's Cook. The ball gets into Holt. Left foot kick by Holt, but that's the magic of Fred Cook. Notice Terry Wilkins, the captain of Sandringham, coming off the ground. The player coming on as he plays 27. A real anticlimax, really, even though we never thought we'd see such a leeway at this stage of the game. Knocked away from him. Put the ball into attack. Punt kick is the umpire. Looked like a pretty clear mark to me, Ted.
Yes, well, I think it's that young O'Brien was getting up pretty high. Then I think he could have had the first touch of the ball, Don.
Okay, there's the ball near the Sandringham goal. Knocked away by Beecroft. It comes to Stibbard. It comes to Goss. Goss, a beautiful pass to ball has been almost faultless. A handball, and their teamwork, as I mentioned earlier, has been excellent. In contrast to Sandringham, who have played since the last quarter as individuals. Into the centre, and a free kick against Anderson for dropping the ball. Kick to be taken by Kennedy. A foolish piece of play by Anderson. He didn't have to do that, I guess. A long kick into the full forward zone, picked up by Cook. Another goal. Port Melbourne goes further ahead. Cook, 8 goals. 3-15 to Sandringham 3-9.
Right, Don, on the ball now comes down towards the half-forward line, towards Sandringham's half-forward line, and the guy who is pushed away is O'Brien in rooms for interviews after the final is over. Right, that's the Clark mobile crane. They're going off to take the mark in defence. They've been power play it has been power play by Port Melbourne. On the ground, George Allen, he'll move out near the play there. There he goes in the background as the interchange player to get a run on the ball. Paul Goss, his brother, number 32, is coming on the field to get a run also. We're 5 minutes in. Sandringham are playing at the moment. There's Anderson kicking it down the field towards the half. Taken down here by Roberts. Hutchison's there. And there's his own supporters giving a few ironical cheers, but he's done pretty well. Hasn't had the opportunity. Marked then by Beecroft. And Beecroft then goes for his kick out to... He's come on the field, and there goes the kick around the wing on the outer side. Moving across there was Clark, the ruckman, who replaced Hainan, and it's gone over the line. Crawford gets it towards centre half back. George Allen was about to come in, but there's Hutchison has the chance, battling away with George Allen. Allen grabbed a bit high, held, and Allen will get the free kick. 5 foot taller. But the kick now from George Allen. Swings it wide to the centre of the ground. Buster Harland in there. He's played, but the umpire could realise he could pick up the ball and said play on. He hand passes to Vic Anderson. Anderson with a big leg up, centre half forward, and the mark has been taken in defence by Carroll. The umpire didn't allow it. Well, what the heck was wrong with Holt now getting possession? And to Port Melbourne. Unlucky for Sandringham. Port of 2015. Ball has been bounced. Now sends it wide of the centre of the ground to Carroll. And Carroll receives the free kick after being tagged. There's the kick to wide of the centre. Pick up here by Clark. Clark in turn towards the centre half forward zone. And it's George Allen to get possession. Hand passes across to Stibbard. Stibbard turns around, gets the kick on its way towards the centre. And will it be marked? Yes. Oh, that was Peters coming into it to take the mark. Crowd today, 29,664. You might as well say 30,000. Gate takings 35,937. 36,000 in my book, as against 30,000 in attendance. Not a bad attendance, Russ. OK, there goes the ball on its own. Up towards centre forward for Sandringham. Off their hands and go through for a point. Ends up out of bounds. Here's Don Hyde.
Thank you, Phil. Great to see such an enormous crowd here, the official attendance, and that's added to the atmosphere here today. And it's Port Melbourne going on with the job as we see Bell kicking in towards goal, 1 point only. Still some happy people. Must be Port Melbourne fans there. Sandringham an all-time low at the moment. They're only 3-11 and Port Melbourne 20 goals 15. Bob Prophet puts the ball back into play once more. Beecroft is there, sets himself to mark it. The ball comes down to Hutchison. Hutchison a quick hand pass back over his head to Kennedy. Kennedy putting Sandringham into attack to the full forward zone, knocked away by Prophet. There's Prophet coming in again, but the ball kicked away by Clark. Christo's there. Around the neck, and a free kick to the Port Melbourne rover, Jimmy Christo. 11 minutes gone in the last quarter, and Port Melbourne 20 goals 15, 135. Sandringham 3-11, 29.
I wish it was me. Anyway, there goes the kick from the centre of the ground up towards the centre half forward position. John Greening comes into it, streaks away with those long strides. He's being tagged down here by Sims, but he gets it back to Beecroft. Beecroft now towards the wing on the stand side of the ground, and that was Lyons taking a good strong mark. Sandringham starting to come into it, but what a time to come back into it. Out towards Kennedy. Kennedy will hand pass it to Peters. Peters, who had passed the ball to him previously now, will take a shot. Up forward. Up they fly for it, and it's been marked. Right in front of the big sticks on the tip of the goal square, and it's Law. Ironic cheers from supporters here as he prepares to put it underway. That's his first kick for the game, and Law puts it through for a goal. Goals 11, and Port Melbourne 21-7.
The boys at Port Melbourne.
Right, Holt now has put it around the wing, put his hands on his heads, realised what he had done. He'd put it straight into the hands out there of Bell of Sandringham, and immediately he puts it through to Franklin. Franklin now from wide to the centre, up towards the centre half forward position. Up goes Hutchison. He might get it on the second bite. Got a thump in the ear and will get the free kick. Umpire made no mistake about indicating exactly where he got the thump either. This is Hutchison's 25th kick in the match. Well, he hasn't let them down. Puts the ball on its way up towards the centre forward zone. They rise high for it. Nearly a mark taken. Umpire disallows it. Play continues on. And we'll see Prophet bring it out from the back line, right around the flank position, goes for the kick in towards the centre of the ground. Play getting high, mark not allowed, and this is Roberts Thompson to play it back up towards the centre forward zone, punch down to the ground. The opportunity for Gould to move into it, right up there on the forward line, isn't it? He gets the hand pass in across here towards Kennedy, towards goal, steers it on its way, and another goal to Sandringham. Sandringham move on to 6-11-47. Port Melbourne 21-17, 143. Do you think this will improve their percentage, Ted?
Well, it won't make much difference if it does, Phil. No doubt it will, and it's a very good score by Port Melbourne. It's a wonderful performance.
OK, let's go over to Bill Thompson, Eddie Malay. Say, boys.
No, there's not a great deal we can say, Phil. Port Melbourne have really proven they're the best side in the association this year. They've ground the stone all day. They've never let up, except the last couple of minutes.
Yes, well, I think Port backline played really well today. They frustrated Sandringham's forward line, and this has made it for their fellows down the field in their forward line. Freddie Cook, Holtz, Rasmussen, all these fellas have come good. With Chris playing really well in the centre, they're doing it really well.
OK, Bill Thompson, Don High.
21 minutes gone in the last quarter of the grand final. Port Melbourne well and truly home, 21-17, fighting the game out, but they're not good enough. Taken by Christo, a hand pass across here to Kevin Goss. Goss in towards goal, and it hits. And Port Melbourne add to their mammoth tally of points, 21-18 to 6-11. And Alf Buse, the fullback, who's had the job of looking after Fred Cook today, he kicks back into play. There's Kevin Goss, not Kevin Goss, Clark rather, trying to get it, and he does get it, in fact, from the umpire. Out there on the flank position, in front of the sign, IOOF, which covers all the Port Melbourne players, I understand. There's the kick downfield. Up goes Rasmussen, can't pull the mark in. Recovers well, hooks it back over his head. Great! Another goal to Port Melbourne. 22-18 to Sandringham, 6-11. 5 goals to him. .5 minutes gone in the last quarter. It'll be a long quarter because of the hold-up in play earlier. And it's Port Melbourne 22-18. Sandringham 6-11. And Port Melbourne into attack again. Evans with the ball. Trips over at the crucial moment. Picked up by O'Brien. O'Brien now playing the ball back to the half-forward line. Lorb is there and takes the mark. A lot of the Sandringham players missing today when the chips have been down. Port Melbourne, on the other hand, had stars on every line. Port Melbourne 150, Sandringham 47. Lorb kicks it into attack. Taken here by Prophet, caught with the ball. And it's a free kick against him. He was caught and had made no attempt to get rid of it. And unlike Bob, handing it back to his opponent with a smile on his face. I guess he can afford to. There's the kick by Bell. And there's the picture telling the story. Sandringham going from bad to worse with a deliberate shot right in front missed. 6-12 they are, and Port Melbourne a mammoth 22-18.
Down here, and the umpire will come in for a ball up. I think even the umpire's lost his enthusiasm at this stage. He was over near the wing. 29.5 minutes into the final quarter. But there'll be plenty of atmosphere after the game. We have cameras in both rooms, and there'll be interviews done in the Port Melbourne room with Norm Brown, probably Fred Cook and the rest of the boys, and it should be pretty exciting for them. Mark taken on the outer side of the ground there by Lorb of Sandringham. He gets his kick in up towards that half-forward line. And there's the shot for goal, and 1 point again for Sandringham. Sandringham 7-13. 56 to Port Melbourne's 22-18, a total of 150. Right, just to mention to those people who follow High Chaparral, it will not be on as advertised now. Obviously the reason why, with the game running so late, but the Pink Panther will be on at 5:30. We'll hold it here with all the action from the dressing room straight after the game is over. But if you're following High Chaparral, because of the lateness, it won't be on. Kennedy takes a shot for goal, and it's another point to Sandringham.
And pulls the mark in. The whistle's gone, and a free kick will go to Peters. Peters now kicks the ball wide towards the centre wing. Up there was Kevin Goss on this occasion, and he gets the mark. Port Melbourne 23-19, 157. Sandringham 7-15-57. That's a 100-point lead to Port Melbourne. Down to Fred Cook again. Not able to pull the mark in. Kicked away by Peters. High into the air. It's still on Port Melbourne's scoring zone. And Coelho it is, trying to pick up the ball here as Philip Gibbs takes up the commentary again.
Right, Don, and immediately the umpire has blown the whistle and awarded a free kick to Coelho. Coelho now sends it around the centre of the ground. Up went Owen, failed to take the mark. There's Hutchison, must have knocked up getting kicks. He goes for the hand pass that comes across to Kennedy. Kennedy couldn't break away, but holding the man, says the umpire, and a free kick to be awarded. For the Coldpage Ford Falcon, there's no doubt Mr. J. Bloss of Morgan Close, Glen Waverley, has won it. As it comes back in the direction of Lions of Sandringham towards the pocket position, and there goes the goal. Port Melbourne premiers for 1977, the centenary year. Look at the kids move out onto the ground. Look at this scene as they're coming from both sides of the ground to congratulate their heroes. Good to see too, a lot of them going straight for their Sandringham players. Fred Cook down here to camera left. He'll end up being chaired off the ground, I reckon. Port Melbourne 23-19, 157, defeated Sandringham 7-15, a total of 57.